As a project manager, how do you define timeline, milestones, estimate, release, etc. in the Agile project RFPs? I believe same way, the way you do in any project. So the idea here is, if you have to do all this, it means the agility is not needed. Maybe you don't follow Agile and you do the way you want to. You define milestone, you define estimate, you define release plans. Now, when do you use Agile? When you know that don't know the requirement. Then, rather than planning the Agile project in a waterfall manner and saying that we will execute in Agile, we need to understand, when we are following Agile, we need to take a different approach for estimation, different approach for stakeholder communication, different approach for dealing with the problem. So that different approach cannot be the same approach which we have done last time. So when we are doing Agile way of working, usually these way of workings are capacity oriented. We will say we will invest 10 months of time, these many people together, and this is the process we will use to find out what can be done and what cannot be done. We will have a periodic review where we will demonstrate what is done and what is not done. And based on our performance on those review, you can decide you want to continue with us or not continue with us. Yeah. So that's the overall thing. But if you believe you can give a milestones and project what scope you need to do in all those milestones, I prefer you better do your traditional detailed planning and come up with those milestones as you have been doing all the time. You have been doing that successfully all the time. So why to confuse? Why to confuse with doing something differently and trying to do the same kind of reporting, contracting as you have been doing before? So we need to see from a different context. Yeah. That's my opinion, and I probably your company must have figured it out, yeah, because else you may not be quoting the RFPs where the Agile might be needing. Yeah, so we have to figure that out. Yeah. So as we said, usually the capacity-based plannings are the done, which are 60 to 70% of the Agile projects are time and material. Else they could be stage gate also. You may say that rather than contracting for 1 year, we only want to contract for 2 months, and we have a fair understanding of 2 months, and after that we will decide. So whatever work best between those two parties, you do it. If you have a very less trust between the vendor and the provide like client, then going in the Agile way might be very risky. Yeah. So you may only do short-term contract, and you better follow waterfall on those short-term contracts. Yeah, that might be easier, because Agile way of working can only work well when you have a good trust and transparency between those two parties. So doing something first time for a client, maybe better you pick up a small slice of it, well define it, do it, and based on that, take the next work. Yeah, that's usually the case. And once the trust get developed, then people will do capacity-based work with you. That's what I have seen. Maybe in one or other organization it might be different, but yeah, that's something is we have seen most frequently. Yeah.